Hi there. Today, I'm going to flip through Dennis Hopper and his book On the Road. This is quite a huge book. It's soft cover, pretty cool edition of Dennis Hopper's work. I first became familiar with Dennis Hopper through his movies, of course. Most probably Easy Rider or some of his 90 movies where he was always some type of evil villain that was like high on drugs. And Blue Velvet is most probably my favorite Dennis Hopper appearance. But I'm sure he popped up on many 90s kind of action movies. It says here, the necessity to make these photos and paintings came from a real place, a place of desperation and solitude with the hope that someday these objects, paintings, and photos would be seen filling the void I was feeling. I mean, as I got older, I've seen him in some Wim Wenders movies. I think he was a great actor. It says here, the Pop Fathers, Dennis Hopper and Edward Ruscha. Ruscha? Dennis Hopper, Andy Warhol. Yeah, the original section, the opening section of this book is quite a lot of interviews. I do believe that the back end of this book are mostly photographs. I'd mentioned it before on a video that I really like black and white photography where the background is black words on a white background with somebody walking across. It's something about the contrast that makes it look really interesting, in my opinion. I've taken that photo myself. Maybe that's an interesting one. So I was a product of abstract expressionism and pop art. As a result, there are a lot of common objects in my photographs, everyday things I would come across that would become abstract if you isolated them. The abstract photography was really all that I was really interested in at the time, and I did more of that than probably anything else. Not entirely sure I see a lot of abstract expressionism in these photos. I know when we were making the movie, we could feel the whole country seemed to be burning up. Negroes, hippies, students, the country was on fire. Good old Allen Ginsberg. Could be one of the, what do you call them, the Hell Riders? What's that they're called? I know this photo because of the Smiths. It's a great photo. Maybe my favorite of his. I mean, I love his hair. Reminds me of the Quentin Tarantino movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Those old sets. I know that's John Wayne. Don't know who that is. Kind of looked like Dean Martin. No idea. Looks like Paul Newman. That is Paul Newman. "98% of all creation is accident. 1% is intellect and 1% logic." That's the problematic Bill Cosby. I did like that photo when I first saw it many years back. I also remember one of some guy sticking out his tongue. Could it be like Ken Kesey or something? I'm sure it's going to pop up in this book. There it is. Don't know if it's Ken Kesey. It looks like he stamped his tongue. Don't think it's Ken Kesey. Ken Kesey? Ken Kesey? I don't know. This is a book I've had in my collection for a number of years. I think it's interesting. I mean, the subjects that he has are quite interesting. The lenses he uses are quite interesting. Different kind of focal lengths. I don't know. Like, I mean, if Dennis Hopper wasn't a famous actor, or if he didn't have access to all these celebrities, would he be considered a good photographer? I'm not so sure. There's our good friend David Hockney. So I don't know. I kind of have mixed feelings of portraiture, to be honest. I mean, I think many years back I used to like portraiture, but as I get older, I'm kind of less interested. Unless they're very stylistic, right? These ones look more like just kind of. It just looks like very much like a point and shoot. I do like his glasses though, his sunglasses. Again, not entirely sure that he's a very special fashion photographer. I mean, that's a cool photo. I did all my stuff natural and without lights. That was all. It was good, it was fun, it kept me going, and in the end, it gave me good training for being a director. Okay, that kind of makes sense. That's a cool photo. Look at Neil Young back in the day. Icon Tina Turner. Grateful Dead. Great James Brown. Would have been nice to have been friends with Andy Warhol, to have some of his prints in your house. So you could sell one of those and buy a house nowadays. That's one that I saw printed quite large in an exhibition once. And I think the main point it was saying was that he was able to have both the background and the foreground in focus. Okay. That's all I'll say. That's the Golden Temple in Kyoto. If you haven't read Yukio Misha's book, The Palace of the Golden Temple, it's definitely a good book to read. These are some photos of Japan he took. Okay, guys, we're reaching towards the end of the book. That's a young Dennis Hopper there. Not my favorite book of his. Not my favorite photographer. Interesting work. Famous name. Had access to a lot of celebrities. Much more talented than me, that's for sure. In terms of photography. Anyway, let me know what you think. That's Dennis Hopper's On the Road.